Ladies and gentlemen, please rise for the processional march. President Dr. James A. Zimble opens the 19th Committee of University. Good morning, honored guests, students, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the commencement ceremony of the Uniform Night. Will you please remain for the presentation of the colors, the Brigade Color, the National of the President's own, the United States under the direction of Master Sergeant Dennis Wolf. Please feel free to join in the singing of the national anthem. The colors. retire the colors. The invocation will be delivered by the university's chaplain, Commander Alfonso Jones, United States Navy.
Let us pray. Heavenly Father, we're here to celebrate the ending of one journey and the beginning of another. We are here to celebrate with the class of 1998 the completion of their academic journey. The smiling faces we see and the laughter we hear reminds us of your word, where it states that at the end of one's labor, one shall enter the joy of one's reward. We are here today to celebrate in that joy. We are also here to celebrate a new journey, one which is exciting but can also be overwhelming. Today they will start the journey of applying what they have learned over the last 4 years. Give them the use of their skills for good. Help them to realize that they are not here to be ministered to, but to minister by health care to others. Let your presence continue in this ceremony. In your name, amen.
It is my pleasure to introduce our master, Dr. Michael Sheridan, Associate Dean for Graduate Education.
I'd like to take this opportunity to thank the Brigade Color Guard and the President's on the United States Marine. Today's ceremony is a recognition of personal achievement. In addition to our student graduates, the university will honor a number of individuals who, through their personal accomplishments, have contributed significantly to medicine and education in America. These awards are described in detail in your program. Ladies and gentlemen, I now have the pleasure of presenting James A. Admiral Medical Corps, United States Navy, retired, President of the Uniform University.
Welcome, members of the F. Edward Hebert School of Medicine and graduate nurse classes of 1998. Senator Paul Sarbanes, distinguished guests, flag and general officers, faculty, families, and friends. Today, I have the distinct privilege of introducing the 1998 Speaker, General 31st Commandant of the United States Marine Corps.
Thank you very much. Normally they give me a box to stand on, but I tell you what an honor it is to be here on this tremendously exciting day, a day that was really by the mothers and the fathers and the husbands and the sons and daughters and the faculty that are here in the audience today couldn't be here. So I'd like to ask the graduates to put their hands to point to your parents. Tell them what a great job they did. Hoorah. I'm honored to be here to address the Graduate School of Medicine, the Graduate School of Nursing. that I would like to spend just a few minutes talking to. And I've been given my marching order advice. He said, keep it short. And since he just got promoted to lieutenant last night, I him. Last month, I had the opportunity to visit the Iwo Jima, known to the Japanese as for a hot, bubbling volcanic atoll that to this day has sulfur vents all throughout the island. During March 1945, it was the scene of one of the most World War II. During the 36-day campaign to take that island, a Marine fell to Japanese fire every 2 minutes. Think of that. Every 2 minutes for 36 days, Marine killed or wounded. It was the only battle, and the Marines suffered more casualties than the enemy. Today, there's because of that titanic struggle. It's a place with history and memories. And the winds that constantly blow across and beaches of Iwo Jima seem at times to carry the voices of those who lost their lives there. It is a mournful place. Joining me on that tortured ground was the family of the late John Bradley. They had never been there before, and they wanted to see where their husband and their father had fought. John Bradley, who had survived the battle, rarely spoke to his family about his experiences on Iwo Jima. When pressed, he would gloss over and downplay how he had won this nation's Declaration for Valor, the Navy Cross. He earned that decoration by rushing to the aid of 2 wounded Marines, shielding them with his body while he tended to their wounds. When Bradley hurried to their aid, he really didn't rush. He crawled. He crawled because just minutes before, he had been shot through both legs. Another reason that the Bradley family wanted to visit Iwo Jima was because they wanted to see the site of the most famous battle photograph ever taken, the raising of the flag on Mount Suribachi. That memorable event, captured in a bronze and granite sculpture, is known today as the Marine Corps War Memorial. 5 Marines and 1 Navy corpsman took part in that flag raising. 3 of those men did not survive the Battle of Iwo Jima. The Navy corpsman did. And as you've probably guessed, his name was Pharmacist Second John Bradley. Let me encourage you while you're here in Northern Virginia to visit the War Memorial one day. Run your hand across the cool granite. Step back and look at the words at the base of that memorial that say, where uncommon valor was a common virtue. And then let you up to the sculptured figures, young men forever captured in bronze. Look for Corpsman John Bradley. You'll recognize him. He's the one with the empty canteen pouch. You see, prior to climbing to the top of Mount Suribachi, he gave his last water to a dying Marine on a hot, bubbling sulfur island. John Bradley would not have water for the next 24 hours. What I want to talk to you about today goes beyond bravery, goes beyond sacrifice. It goes directly to the touchstone of the vocation you have just chosen to join. I want to talk to you about selflessness. Selflessness. John Bradley was a brave man. He sacrificed greatly. But most of all, he was selfless. His brave acts were not done for any reward, nor were they intended to be captured by News Cam 4 or CNN. There was no public glory in what he did. In fact, men under fire rarely speak in terms of glory. Instead, they speak of who can be counted on and who cannot. Above all, they speak about and remember the small, individual acts of selflessness. When Felix de Weldon, the sculptor of the Marine Corps War Memorial, asked what had happened to his canteen, John couldn't even remember. In the heat of battle, he had completely forgotten. But the survived Marine Adley's unit knew, and they remembered, and they told de Weldon the story of him sharing his water. Selflessness is unforgettable. Even small acts of selflessness are unforgettable. Today, when you leave here, you will find yourselves placed in positions of great responsibility. You will be men and women of letters and possess a special and unique educational experience. That alone will cause the mantle of leadership to be thrust upon you. And because of who you are and what you are, you must don that mantle of responsibility. With responsibility comes many great challenges. These challenges are normally translated into choices. A choice to operate, a choice for therapy, a choice to do nothing. But of all the choices you will face, there is none greater than the choice between self and selflessness. Is the benefit for you, or is it for your team, or your patient, or your clinic, or your family? Over the chapel doors at the United States Naval Academy is a simple Latin inscription, non sivi sed patri, not for self, but for country. Not for self, but for country. Simple, but powerful. Selflessness takes time to develop. Rarely does a man or a woman suddenly grow a brain in the operating room. Rarely does a man or a woman suddenly grow a spine in the middle of a battlefield. Likewise, rarely does a person develop a sense of selflessness in a single moment in time. Spontaneous selfless acts rarely happen. Instead, they're built on a strong moral foundation and then carefully layered by doing the right thing time after time after time. All of you possess a strong character. All of you possess strong values. All of you possess a strong sense of duty. Let me encourage you to add to those strengths a spirit of selflessness. That spirit is within you now. Draw from it. Use it. Encourage it from others. Use it to lead, to build your team, and to serve those you know and those you know not. John Bradley gave the last of his water to a wounded Marine on the 23rd of February, 1945. That afternoon, he was struggling to climb the fire-swept heights of Mount Suribachi. The next day, he braved enemy fire to aid 2 wounded Marines. And just a few days later, though terribly wounded himself, he again braved enemy fire to aid 2 more Marines. It was not for sense of self that he performed those brave deeds. It was for others, for those he knew and for those he knew not. Deep within his soul, John Bradley instinctively knew that non sibi sed patri is contagious. Selflessness is contagious. After aiding those final 2 wounded Marines, Corpsman John Bradley, badly wounded, lost consciousness. He awoke 36 hours later aboard the hospital ship USS Solace. How he arrived there is unknown. The names of those Marines and sailors that carried him off the fire-swept battlefield, who placed him on the small boat, who carried him to the ship, who put their healing touch on his body, have been lost to history. Only their selfless deed remains. Even small acts of selflessness are unforgettable. I ask you to be men and women that are unforgettable. God bless you. May the Lord hold you in the palm of his hands. Semper Fidelis.
Four recipients have been chosen to receive honorary degrees. Dr. Zimbel will present the Doctor of Military Science honoris causa to General Charles C. Krulak.
Dr. Sheridan, if you will excuse me, but as president, I have a prerogative to escape from the script for one moment. This
With
is
my blessing.
Thank you, sir. In May and June this year, we'll have many ceremonies, many graduations, and there will be many graduates that will recognize their speaker as their last obstacle before they can achieve their degree. And they'll have a hard time in years down the road to remember that speaker or what he said. But I can promise you, General Krulak, that every graduate here, every faculty member, everyone in this audience will remember your words and remember the speaker coming up. I'll now return to the script. General Krulak, you are recognized as one of America's finest patriots because you have devoted your entire professional career to selfless public service. The Corps and the nation have benefited greatly from your professionalism and leadership contributions. Demonstrated by success in a variety of command and staff assignments in the Marine Corps and within the national security structure, your insight and concern for mission and people have taken the Corps to the highest levels of professionalism, modernization, and effectiveness. As a decorated combat veteran recognized by the nation for your courage and commitment on the field of battle, you have had personal experience with military medicine. You have unselfishly and generously shared those experiences with the military medical community and with our students. You have also unhesitatingly presented your expectations of the medical community's responsibility towards those who must go into harm's way for America. By your direct actions, character, and leadership, our nation is assured that it has the most effective force it requires to ensure its security interests. General Krulak, your personal and professional values, ideals, integrity, and conduct are an inspiration and an example for all Marines and to American citizens everywhere. The Uniformed Services University, your university, therefore takes pride in awarding you, the 34th Commandant of the U.S. Marine Corps, this degree of Doctor of Military Science honoris causa. Semper Fi.
And now Dr. Zimbel will present the Doctor of Military Medicine, honoris causa to Joshua Lederberg, Ph.D.
Dr. Lederberg, you are an internationally recognized scientific scholar, professor, and president emeritus of the Rockefeller University, Nobel laureate, distinguished student of molecular genetics for over 4 decades, and a valued friend of military medicine. In 1958, you received the Nobel Prize in Medicine for studies on the organization of genetic material in bacteria. In 1989, the nation honored your many contributions to the federal government with the U.S. National Medal of Science. You remain a global leader in the field of emerging infectious diseases. You began serving our nation in World War II as a Navy hospital corpsman, reaching the rank of ensign before your honorable discharge in 1945. You then continued to serve our nation's public interests by being actively involved in national security issues, including nuclear, chemical, and biological weapons arms control, and more recently, defense against the natural outbreaks of infectious disease. At the Uniformed Services University, you likewise have made significant contributions, including selection as a David Packard Lecturer and addressing the Military Medicine Conference. Professor Lederberg, you are an academic scholar of the highest order, a loyal and long-standing contributor of medical expertise to the Department of Defense, and a generous and distinguished lecturer for your university. Therefore, the Uniformed Services University of the Health Sciences takes pride in awarding you this degree of Doctor of Military Medicine, honoris causa.
Dr. Zimbel will present the Doctor of Medical Humanities, honoris causa, to Brigadier General Vorley M. Rexroad, United States Air Force Medical Corps, retired. Mrs. Mary Dix, Uniformed Services University, Vice President for Administration and Management, will accept the degree on behalf of General Rexroad.
General Rexroad has faithfully served America for more than 50 years. Throughout his experiences in direct involvement, military medicine has been an active focus of tremendous and dedicated military and public service career. Unselfishly, he immediately responded to his nation's call at the very beginning of World War II and again for the Korean War. During those experiences, he learned the critical role of and valuable lessons that military medicine holds for those people the nation must send into harm's way. From his emotion-filled experiences in coordinating the return of American prisoners of war from Thailand in 1945, and again with Korean POWs, to his days as congressional staff member visiting field hospitals in Vietnam, he has dedicated himself to the preservation of military medicine's most valued lessons. He also came to the conclusion that there was an absolute national requirement for a sustained continuum of military medical leadership. From the Uniformed Services University's inception, he recognized and was instrumental in making this university that vehicle. Through his unfailing, consistent, and dynamic advocacy, this university has granted thousands of military physicians, advanced practice nurses, and scientists who will continue to serve this nation well into the 21st century. He has also been diligent in convincing our nation's leadership to expand the university as America's premier academic center of military medicine. For this spirit, leadership, and dedication to military medicine and the health professionals' education pursuits of this institution, he has earned our eternal respect and gratitude. The Uniformed Services University therefore takes pride in awarding Vorley M. Rexroad this degree of Doctor of Medical Humanities honoris causa.
General Rexroad deeply regrets not being with us today. However, his wonderful family is present. Mrs. Ruth Rexroad, his son Michael, his daughter-in-law Linda, and his two superb grandchildren, Michael and Lori. The General asked that I read a few words to you, and I will try to do so. My greetings to all gathered here today. I wish to express my sincere gratitude to the university, Dr. Bristow, Dr. Zimble, Dean Hemming, Dean Abdallah, and the Board of Regents for the honor that has been given to me today. This honorary degree marks the high point of my 50 years in Washington, D.C. I have seen the elephant, World War II, then peace, not long, but peace, the Korean War, then peace again, not long, and then, of course, the Vietnam War, which lasted for 10 years. And now we have continuous acts of terrorism. Peace is as elusive as it has always been throughout our century. Due to my experiences, I am certainly acquainted with the military healthcare system and its success throughout all of the crises that have faced our military in the last 50 years. I know firsthand the thin line between eternity and the soldiers, sailors, airmen, and Marines in combat. That thin line is the skill of the heroic physicians, the brave and valiant nurses, and the superb hospital corpsmen who answer that plaintive call, medic, medic, over here. I think I can say without dispute that the military healthcare system is the finest in the world, and it must be preserved. At the same time, I recognize that our healthcare system, sometimes it has glitches that need to be fixed. And in the American way, we do what needs to be done. We work together and we make things right. USUS, as the academic umbrella for the military healthcare system, will serve to preserve the lessons learned from past wars and to assure leadership and continuity for uniform medicine. You tremendous USUS graduates have been prepared to do all of what is required for tomorrow's military health care system. God bless each and every one of you, and God bless and keep our great country. Thank you.
Dr. Zembel will now present the Doctor of Military Medicine and Surgery honoris causa to David C. Sabiston, Jr., M.D., Rear Admiral Donald Sturtz, Medical Corps, United States Navy, retired, will accept the degree on behalf of Dr. Sabiston.
Dr. Sabiston is a world leader in surgery who has provided a lifetime of dedication to medicine and research, and in the process contributed substantially to a better America. From his early service in the Army's Institute of Research, Departments of Medicine and Surgery at Walter Reed Army Hospital, beginning nearly 50 years ago, he has been a constant, persevering, and loyal friend of military medicine and of surgery. In the past 25 years, he has well and substantially exhibited this dedication, including his role in 1977 as committee chair for the university's chairman of the Department of Surgery Research, and again in 1995-96 as a member of the university's Dean's School of Medicine Search Committee. Since 1977, he has been our constant companion as a Department of Surgery consultant, and from 1978, willingly served as a key member of the department's Board of Visitors. Additionally, the university has used his textbook of surgery and essentials of surgery as its standard text for the third-year medical students since 1976. Despite the high demand on his professional time, he has always had time to contribute to the university's scholastic improvement. During these many years of close association, he has also graciously shared his knowledge with our faculty and students through numerous lectures, the university's fourth commencement address, and most recently as the medical students' AOA lecturer in February 1997. His humanity, leadership, patriotism, and spirit have earned him undying respect. The Uniformed Services University therefore takes great pride in awarding the Doctor of Military Medicine and Surgery honoris causa.
Were Dr. Sabiston able to be here today, he would eloquently and sincerely thank the university and the university family for this honor. Being the teacher and gentleman that he is, he would gaze upon all of you being recognized for your accomplishments here today and wish you only the best as you go your separate ways representing this university and serving humanity.
At this time, it is my distinct pleasure to announce the recipient of a truly unique award, one that has only been presented 3 times in our 25-year history. The Carrera Award is voted on by the students in the School of Medicine and is for exceptional service on behalf of the university. The Carrera Award is presented to the university's First Lady Emeritus, Mrs. Laurie Sanford.
Just a brief word to remind you that when this place started, Laurie and Jay were really the architects of much that happened here. This award is really for Laurie and for Jay and for their family and for all of those who contributed with them as the university was built, as the medical school was started, and now as we see the fruits of its success, we have this opportunity to award her in the name of the first president of USUS, Dr. Anthony Coeri.
It's my privilege to introduce Dr. Faye G. Abdallah, Dean, Graduate School of Nursing. Dr. Abdallah is joined by Dr. Zembel, Dr. Lonnie Bristow, Chair of the Uniformed Services University Board of Regents, And representing the Assistant Secretary of Defense for Health Affairs is Dr. John Mizuki, Deputy Assistant Secretary of Defense for Clinical Sciences. Major Lorraine Fritz, Commandant of the Graduate School of Nursing, will announce awards. Dr. Abdullah.
Thank you. On behalf of the Graduate School of Nursing, I am honored to present the Graduate School of Nursing Outstanding Student Awards.
Please turn to page 2 in your program for the following awards. The Graduate School of Nursing Outstanding Student Award for the Nurse Anesthesia Program is presented to Captain David Grasso, United States Army Nurse Corps. Captain Grasso, please come forward. The Graduate School of Nursing Outstanding Student Award for the Family Nurse Practitioner Program is presented to Major Tamara Link, United States Air Force Nurse Corps. Major Link, please come forward. The Graduate School of Nursing Outstanding Military Faculty Award is presented to Lieutenant Colonel Judy Eichert, United States Air Force Nurse Corps. Lieutenant Colonel Eichert, please come forward. The Graduate School of Nursing Outstanding Civilian Faculty Award is presented to Mrs. Diane Seibert, OBGYN and Adult Nurse Practitioner, Master of Science. Mrs. Seibert, please come forward.
Presenters, please be seated. It's now my pleasure for me to introduce the President of the Graduate School of Nursing Class of 1998, Captain Susan Perry, United States Air Force Nurse Corps. Captain Perry will present the Graduate School of Nursing Class Farewell Address.
Good morning. Senator Sarbanes, Admiral Satcher, General Krulak, Dr. Mizuki, Dr. Bristow, members of the Board of Regents, flag officers, Dr. Zimbel, Dr. Abdallah, honored guests, graduates, ladies and gentlemen. Here we are, the class of 1998. We've made it through a lot of speeches to get to this point. None quite as memorable as that we just had. In fact, there are probably a lot of things about the speeches we've heard in the past that we don't remember. But one of the things we can be positive of is they all had a common theme. Here we are, we're starting on a new journey, and there's much to accomplish. That's what we heard at high school, that's what we heard at college, and it was true. We did accomplish, here we are. We've worked hard and we've sacrificed to be where we are today. And the question I pose to you today is, for what have we worked so hard and for what have we sacrificed? I think the answer is simple. We've worked hard and we've sacrificed so that we could fulfill one of the greatest purposes that I think anyone could have, and that is the purpose to serve the health care needs of the men and the women of the uniformed services. Take a minute and look around you. These aren't just your fellow students, these are your future patients. These are the men and women whose families we will be caring for and who will be caring for our families. In addition, there are thousands of people whom we have never met who every day go willingly into harm's way, confident that if they need us and when they need us, God forbid that they do need us, that we will be there, competent and caring. Here we've learned the competence through biology and pharmacology and anatomy and pharmacology and clinical practice and pharmacology. We have learned the basic competence required to practice our profession. But as we go forward from here and we start to practice that profession, Amid the ever-growing turnover time, which we've all heard of, and the need to see more and more patients in shorter periods of time, we may actually forget the caring aspect. And when that happens, I challenge us all to stop and take a minute and think and remember and listen. For it's in remembering and listening that we can remind ourselves what caring really is all about. Remember when you were 5 years old or 10 years old or 20 or maybe last week and you had a physical pain or emotional pain? You wanted someone to make it better. You wanted someone just to listen to you and hear. Or sometimes just to sit with you until you figured out how to take care of it yourself. Those are the same needs of our patients. They're there for us to listen. They're not taking up our time. They are the reason we're here. And we need to listen to them. Listening won't slow down our patient turnover necessarily, because sometimes I submit to you that listening to our patients, they will actually tell us or lead us to the path for their diagnosis and treatment. Have you ever taken your car, I was trying to think of a parable for this, and actually my husband helped me with this. Have you ever taken your car to a mechanic because you've had this car for a long time and there's just something not right about it? There's a little noise or something's not right. And you take it to the mechanic and you tell him about this, and he starts up the engine and he listens and he says, "Sounds fine, there's nothing wrong with your car." So you get in your car and you drive it about 4 miles down the road and it breaks down. And then you say, "If you'd just listened to me, I wouldn't be in this predicament today." How many times have we heard that same story related to health care? The patient comes in and tells us something isn't right with myself or my child. They know themselves and their children and their spouses and everyone else that they might bring to you. So they tell you something's wrong and you run a whole group of tests and there doesn't seem to be anything wrong, and you say, "Nope, there's nothing wrong." And then something happens and they come back. And they were right, there was something wrong. And if we'd just taken a little bit longer to listen and looked a little bit deeper, we might have been able to prevent a lot of problems. Sometimes, with all our competence, we won't be able to make it better or cure the disease. Sometimes the disease will win, and then the caring becomes much more important than the competence. We must never forget that sometimes in our career, our eyes will be the last eyes that someone sees in this life. Our hand, the last hand they hold, our voice, the last voice they hear. At that point, we need to be sure that those eyes, that hand, and that voice give what is needed at that moment: comfort and peace. Yes, our mission is to treat and to heal, and to watch diligently over our patients. But more, our duty is to see the person behind the disease, the wound or the procedure, to see the person placing their trust in us, the soldiers, sailors, Marines, airmen, and other citizens we are privileged to serve. So here we are, educated, commissioned, and ready to practice in our chosen profession. Now, as we go forth to our new assignments, let us not forget why we were sent there. We are there because the citizens of this extraordinary nation have trusted us with the care and comfort of their sons and daughters. They need us to be competent, and they demand that we be caring. I'm proud to be a member of this class and to be allowed to serve with you and for you. Congratulations to the graduates, to our beloved families, and may God bless this class, those assembled here, this wonderful university, and the United States of America. Thank you.
Again, Dr. Abdullah, joined by Dr. Zembel, Dr. Bristow, and Dr. Mizuki, will present the Graduate School of Nursing class of 1998.
Dr. Bristow, on behalf of the faculty of the Graduate School of Nursing, I recommend to you that the degree of Master of Science in Nursing be conferred on 22 individuals. Will the candidates please rise?
By virtue of the authority vested in this university by the Congress of the United States, and upon the recommendation of the faculty and the Dean, Graduate School of Nursing, I hereby confer the degree of Master of Science in Nursing upon 22 individuals.
The following candidates are receiving the Master of Science in Nursing as nurse practitioners. Captain Rhonda R. Adler, United States Air Force, Master of Science in Nursing. Captain Vicki Lynn Brady, United States Air Force, Master of Science in Nursing. Captain Bernadette Ann Harlow, United States Air Force, Master of Science in Nursing. Major Bridget Lakowitz LaRue, United States Air Force, Master of Science in Nursing. Major Tamara Link, United States Air Force, Master of Science in Nursing. Captain Terrence McManus, United States Air Force, Master of Science in Nursing. Captain Cheryl Udinzi, United States Air Force, Master of Science in Nursing. Captain Tracy Ann Wingert, United States Air Force, Master of Science in Nursing. The following candidates are receiving the Master of Science in Nursing in Nurse Anesthesia. Major Nathaniel Michael Apatow, United States Army, Master of Science in Nursing. Major Apatow is also working toward his doctorate in neuroscience in the School of Medicine. Captain David W. Cherney, United States Army, Master of Science in Nursing. Captain John Albert Clark, United States Air Force, Master of Science in Nursing. Captain Philip Brent Durden, United States Air Force, Master of Science in Nursing. Captain David P. Grasso, United States Army, Master of Science in Nursing. Lieutenant Bradley J. Hartgerink, United States Navy, Master of Science in Nursing. Captain Edward J. Hepling, United States Army, Master of Science in Nursing. First Lieutenant Jessica K. Joswick, United States Army, Master of Science in Nursing. Captain Kelly Clark Moore, United States Air Force, Master of Science in Nursing. Captain G. Ralph Mosley, United States Air Force, Master of Science in Nursing. Captain Susan M. Perry, United States Air Force, Master of Science in Nursing. First Lieutenant Bradley Wayne Stilflug, United States Army, Master of Science in Nursing. Major Rick L. Wade, United States Air Force, Master of Science in Nursing. Lieutenant A. Rance Wiggins, United States Navy, Master of Science in Nursing. We will now proceed to recognize the graduates of the F. Edward Hebert School of Medicine. It's my pleasure to introduce to you the Dean of the F. Edward Hebert School of Medicine, Dr. Val Hemming. Page 31.
It is with pleasure I present the Uniformed Services University Graduate Student Service Award to Lieutenant Colonel Dale Hawk, Medical Service Corps, United States Army, from the Department of Biochemistry. The award description can be found on page 3 of your program. Lieutenant Hawk, please come forward. For the first time this year, we are fortunate to be able to announce a new fellowship to be funded by the Henry M. Jackson Foundation for the Advancement of Military Medicine. The fellowship will be awarded to a student in the School of Medicine's graduate program. The fellowship will fund a terminal year of research for the deserving recipient. We owe a debt of gratitude and express our appreciation for the continued support by the Henry M. Jackson Foundation. Also, for the first time this year, the F. Edward Hebert School of Medicine graduate program is proud to announce the creation of the School of Medicine's Outstanding Biomedical Graduate Educator Award. A full description may be found on page 3 of your program. The recipient of this award is Dr. Joseph T. McKay, PhD, Associate Professor of Anatomy and Cell Biology in the Department of Anatomy and Cell Biology. Dr. McKay, by the way, was just approved by the Board of Regents for a sabbatical leave where he'll be serving in the University of Edinburgh in Scotland. So would Dr. McKay please come forward?
Presenters, please be seated. Ladies and gentlemen, Mark Crago, PhD candidate in the Department of Physiology, will present the graduate student farewell address. Mark?
Family, friends, and fellow graduates, distinguished guest. It is my distinct honor to come before you today representing the graduating master's and PhD degree candidates. Today is a monumental day in each one of our lives, no matter which degree we are receiving. Each of the degrees that are being awarded today represents years of hard work performed by each one of us. For many of us, that hard work was represented by hours spent in the library trying to memorize every last detail in order to get ready for an exam. For others of us, it took much trial and error to develop the best dissertation proposal we could possibly create, and then painstakingly see that project through to the very end. Each one of us, however, has realized that goal. And today, we are celebrating our accomplishment. We should be very proud. The wisdom and knowledge we have gained during the years we have spent at USUS is quite remarkable. We have shared great opportunities to learn from and to be mentored by some of today's finest civilian and military teachers, scientists, and physicians. There is no doubt each of us has been trained well to become great scientists, researchers, and clinicians. We have so many people to say thank you to that it is difficult to know where to begin. I am certain that each one of us could come up here and stand and list a number of individuals, including family and friends and teachers, who have helped us to make this event possible for each one of us. To all of you who have loved, encouraged, and strengthened us as we worked so hard to arrive at this day, I simply want to say thank you. We couldn't have done it without you. Although today is appropriately a day of excitement and celebration, it is also a day of commencement. As graduates of the Uniformed Services University, we are now responsible to use the wisdom and knowledge we have been so fortunate to attain in a manner which wholly represents the standards of those who have trained us so well. This should not only be our duty, but it should be our pleasure. We have indeed learned more than anyone would have ever imagined. We have been prepared to leave USUS and to go out and make a real difference in this world. How each one of us will respond to the challenges that lie ahead is solely up to us. St. James once asked, "Who is wise and understanding among you?" He then stated, "Let him show it by his good life, by deeds done in the humility that comes from wisdom." Commitment, integrity, and public service, principles that anchor the foundation of the Uniformed Services University. May these virtues not only represent what USUS stands for, but may they become even more a part of our everyday lives from this day forth.
At this time, Dr. Hemming, Dr. Zembel, Dr. Bristow, and Dr. Mizuki will confer degrees on the members of the Uniformed Services University F. Edward A. Bear School of Medicine graduate program. Dr. Bristow, on behalf of the faculty of the graduate program and the Dean of the School of Medicine, I recommend to you that the degree of Master of Public Health be conferred on 11 individuals. Will the candidates please rise?
By virtue of the authority vested in this university by the Congress of the United States, and upon the recommendation of the faculty and Dean, F. Edward A. Bear School of Medicine, I hereby confer the degree of Master of Public Health with all of its attendant privileges and responsibilities.
Colonel Paul Benedict, Israeli Defense Force, Master of Public Health. Captain Sherry Graham, United States Army, Master of Public Health. Lieutenant Colonel Beverly Maliner, United States Army, Master of Public Health. Melanie McCula, Master of Public Health. Commander Kenneth Shore, United States Navy, Master of Public Health. Lieutenant John Smart, United States Public Health Service, Master of Public Health. David Staton, Jr., Master of Public Health. Teresa Kim Sylvester, Master of Public Health. Julia Takafuji, Master of Public Health. Lieutenant Colonel Yosef Weiss, Israeli Defense Force, Master of Public Health. Dr. Bristow, on behalf of the faculty of the graduate program and the Dean of the School of Medicine, I recommend to you that the degree of Doctor of Philosophy be conferred on 9 individuals. Will the candidates please rise?
By virtue of the authority vested in this university by the Congress of the United States, and upon the recommendation of the faculty and Dean, F. Edward A. Bear School of Medicine, I hereby confer the degree Doctor of Philosophy with all of its attendant privileges and responsibilities.
Captain Carol, did you hear that? Captain Carol Ann Basson, United States Army, Doctor of Philosophy, Physiology. Mark Stephen Crago, Doctor of Philosophy, Physiology. Lieutenant Colonel Dale Arthur Hawk, United States Army, Doctor of Philosophy, Biochemistry. Laura Kushno Klein, Doctor of Philosophy, Medical Psychology. Lieutenant Julie K. Miller, United States Navy, Doctor of Philosophy, Clinical Psychology. Eric John Popke, Doctor of Philosophy, Medical Psychology. Captain Randall Clifford Nettegard, United States Air Force, Doctor of Philosophy, Clinical Psychology. Second Lieutenant John David Shaber, United States Army, Doctor of Philosophy, Pathology. Lieutenant Shaber is a combined degree student receiving his PhD today. He will re-enter medical school next month and complete his medical school degree and graduate with the class of 2000. Pamela Joy Valalis, Doctor of Philosophy, Pharmacology. Ladies and gentlemen, we now move to that portion of the ceremony devoted to the graduates who will receive the degree of Doctor of Medicine. 8 graduates have won special recognition for their scholarship, professionalism, and public service. Donald Sturtz, Rear Admiral, Medical Corps, United States Navy retired, Professor, Department of Surgery, will announce the awards. Descriptions of the awards begin on page 4 of your program.
The Board of Regents Award is the highest honor a graduating senior can receive. The award is presented to Second Lieutenant Christopher Clem. The Society of Medical Consultants to the Armed Forces has established an award to be given annually to the class valedictorian. This year, the award is presented by Dr. Paul Gleason, President, Society of Medical Consultants to the Armed Forces, to Second Lieutenant Michael J. Mines, United States Army Reserve. The Association of Military Surgeons of the United States Award consists of a lifetime membership in the association, a plaque, and a monetary award. On behalf of the association, this year the award will be presented by Dr. Zimble to Second Lieutenant Bryant G. Marchant, United States Army Reserve. It is now my pleasure to announce the presentation of the United States Army, United States Navy, United States Air Force, and Public Health Service Surgeons General Awards. The Uniformed Services University faculty have selected these students for recognition of their outstanding academic performance and the exemplary manner in which they demonstrated a commitment toward enhancing the goals of the uniformed service they represent. Representing the Surgeon General of the Army is Major General Leslie Berger, Medical Corps, United States Army. Major General Berger will present the Army Surgeon General's Award.
On behalf of General Blank and the entire Army Medical Department, it's my pleasure to present the United States Army Surgeon General Award to Second Lieutenant Darrell K. Carlton, United States Army Reserve.
The Surgeon General of the United States Navy, Vice Admiral Harold M. Koenig, Medical Corps, United States Navy, will present the next award.
It is my pleasure to present the United States Navy Surgeon General's Award to Ensign Stuart Kerr, United States Naval Reserve.
Lieutenant General Charles H. Rodman II, United States Air Force, Medical Corps, Surgeon General of the Air Force, will present the next award.
It's my pleasure to present the United States Air Force Surgeon General Medical Student Award to Captain William P. Miller.
Admiral David Satcher, Assistant Secretary for Health, Department of Health and Human Services, and Surgeon General of the United States Public Health Service, will present the next award.
It is my pleasure to present the United States Public Health Service Award to Ensign Tanya A. Hurlbut of the United States Public Health Service.
Dean Hemming will now present the William P. Clements Jr. Award and the Outstanding Civilian Educator Award. A full description of the awards may be found on page 5 of your program. These two awardees were chosen by the graduating medical students. The William P. Clements Jr. Award is presented to Lieutenant Colonel Richard M. Conran, Medical Corps, United States Army. Lieutenant Colonel Conran, please come forward. The Outstanding Civilian Educator Award is presented to Allison O'Brien, PhD, Chair of the Department of Microbiology and Immunology. Dr. O'Brien, please come forward. The Esprit de Corps Award recipient is selected annually by the members of the graduating class to recognize one of their own. The individual selected is not listed in your program because the class, by tradition, keeps it secret until this moment. This award is presented by Dr. Richard McDonald, Associate Dean for Student Affairs, and by Colonel Donald Steinweg, Assistant Dean for Clinical Sciences.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are pleased to announce that this year, for the first time in history, a tie occurred, and there will be 2 awards. So I ask that you please hold your applause until both names are mentioned.
Second Lieutenant Autumn Quesito, United States Army Reserve.
And I might add, a former Marine Corps officer, Ensign Fred Sylvia. Please come forward.
Presenters, please be seated. I am pleased to introduce the president of the F. Edward Hebert School of Medicine's class of 1998. As his last official act as class president, Ensign Stuart Kerr, Medical Corps, United States Naval Reserve, will present the medical class farewell address.
General Krulak, distinguished members of Congress, Board of Regents, President Zimble, Dean Hemming, faculty, visitors, family, and friends. On behalf of the entire class of 1998, I sincerely thank you for sharing your time with us on this much anticipated day. During my second year of medical school, I was at a barbecue, and the topic of conversation at this particular event was U.S. involvement in Bosnia. The active duty medical officer that I was with at this particular function was on the list that was that named those individuals that were to deploy. He was strongly opposed to going. He complained about the fact that there was no benefit to himself or his family, belabored the poor equipment, the sparse living conditions, and felt that it was below his education and training to be part of this mission. This individual even considered writing his congressman a letter protesting the U.S. involvement in order to not deploy. He felt no obligation or desire to go overseas to Bosnia. I couldn't help but during this discussion to think about my own experience in Somalia the autumn just prior to starting medical school. I vividly remember the fear, the inconvenience, and the uncertainty of deploying to a hot, dusty third world country. Many of the units that deployed there were ordered to go. The need for medical assistance was established. It was an area of conflict. The majority of the Rangers, the Marines, the Navy SEALs, the Army SF, they were just out of high school. And of those career soldiers, sailors, airmen, and Marines that were there, the older individuals, a lot of them had young families back at home. When the conflict escalated in October of 1993, these men and women were fortunate enough to have a field hospital that was fully staffed and in place. Many lives were saved because of the staff that was there at that hospital. And of those that did die, and there were many, much of the suffering was alleviated. I deployed over there as a hospital corpsman with doctors that did not have any further obligation to our nation, any further obligation to their service. Doctors that decided to stay on active duty for whatever drive it was, because they felt there was something that they could afford these young individuals that were going into harm's way. They had already paid back their obligations, but they decided to remain on active duty at any rate and volunteer for this deployment, volunteer for this unit, knowing that they would be the first ones to go. It was a rapidly deployable unit. It is true that deployments are inconvenient to our preset modus operandi. Very few individuals volunteer. We often get so wrapped up in our own needs and our own goals, our internship, our residency, our fellowships, our research, our best interest. But what about the men and the women that we have been charged to serve? Can we allow ourselves to not give, to not serve, to not go, and provide that life-sustaining capability that we've been trained to do? My brother Sean is here today. He is a Marine Corps reservist that served in the front lines as a Marine tanker during the Gulf War. I'm glad that there was a field hospital there in Saudi Arabia if he would have needed that. We in the medical corps are in a unique position. Many of us will not serve in combat units. We'll never be in that position. And because of this fact, the line community will always need us. They will always need volunteers that are willing to step forward when conflict is imminent. If those volunteers will not be us from this university, from where will they come? Thank you.
Dr. Bristow, on behalf of the faculty and the Dean of the F. Edward Hebert School of Medicine, I recommend to you that the degree of Doctor of Medicine be conferred on the 154 members of the 1998 graduating class. Will the candidates please rise?
By virtue of the authority vested in this university by the Congress of the United States, and upon the recommendation of the faculty and Dean, F. Edward Hebert School of Medicine, I hereby confer upon you the degree of Doctor of Medicine with all of its attendant privileges and responsibilities.
The graduating class has selected Dr. Jack McKenzie, Professor, Department of Physiology, to read their names for this ceremony.
Good morning, scholars. Good morning. Ladies and gentlemen, the faculty and staff of the F. Edward Hebert School of Medicine, Uniformed Services University of the Health Sciences, takes great pride in presenting the class of 1998. Dr. Eric W. Anderson. Dr. Kurt W. Andresen. Dr. Cletus Anthony Arcero. Dr. John Charles Arnold. Dr. Sarah N. Aslam. Dr. Renee Spitzer Barnheiser. Dr. Chester P. Barton III. Dr. Eric Eugene Balin. Dr. Jeanette Ruth Burgess Benedict. Dr. J. Eric Bermudez. Dr. David Temple Beverly IV. Dr. Avery A. Bevan. Dr. Danielle Nicole Bird. Dr. Sean D. Birmingham. Dr. Krista Goff Boxstaller. Dr. Edward George Butler II. Dr. Jeffrey Scott Kane. Dr. Rachel A. Call. Dr. Babette T. Carlson. Dr. Darrell Keith Carlton. Dr. Sean David Carstairs. Dr. Kyle Lynn Carter. Dr. Autumn Heather Casado. Dr. Mario Casado. Dr. Michael Charissis. Dr. Michael Thomas Carlton. Dr. Kevy Laura Christopher. Dr. Lily Chu. Dr. Jeffrey Charles Cleary. Dr. Mark Bennett Klinger. Dr. Marie Ann Coffey. Dr. Michael Jude Colston. Dr. John Joseph Combs. Dr. David Raymond Congdon. Dr. James Vincent Crawford. Dr. Dana Keith Kressler. Dr. Scott Michael Cummis. Dr. Stephen James Currier. Dr. Heather Irene Davis. Dr. Lakeisha Renee Fryson Davis. Dr. Michael Robert Davis. Dr. Brian L. Delmonico. Dr. James Albert Dickerson II. Dr. Daniel S. Dietrich. Dr. Darren Lance Donnelly. Dr. Diana L. Dunnigan. Dr. Keith S. Egerstrom. Dr. Herbert Collins Eit III. Dr. Alexis T. Alexander Epperly. Dr. Jennifer Espiritu. Dr. Susan Catherine Farish. Dr. Eric Raymond Frizzell. Dr. David Gann. Dr. Scott Randolph Griffith. Dr. Stephen Mark Gretsch. Dr. Romero Luis Gutierrez Martinez. Dr. David Evans Gwynn. Dr. William Hallier. Dr. J. Matthew Harden. Dr. Dwayne Richard Henyon. Dr. Christopher Marshall Hertzer. Dr. Stephen D. Hogue. Dr. Tanya Anita Hurlbut. Dr. Robert Derek Jackson. Dr. Dorothy Ann Jensen. Dr. Kathy Joan Green Joyers. Dr. Jeremy John Johnson. Dr. Robert William Johnson. Dr. Helen Nicole Johnswall. Dr. Eric J. Kosowski. Dr. James William Keck. Dr. Stuart Matthew Kerr. Dr. Jocelyn Ang Kilgore. Dr. Jennifer T. Killian. Dr. Peter James Killian. Dr. Kevin Michael King. Dr. Christopher Clem. Dr. Christopher John Koshen. Dr. Luisa Katerina Kropcho. Dr. David Chandler Krulak. Dr. Jeffrey Dennis Keeter. Dr. Stephen John Lawless. Dr. Christine Elizabeth Lang. Dr. Charlotte M. Langendorfer. Dr. Maximilian Samuel Lee. Dr. Petros Jean Leinonen. Dr. David Shields Lesser. Dr. Christine Lettieri. Dr. Christopher John Lettieri. Dr. Joseph John Leinert. Dr. Patrick David Lowry. Dr. Jonathan David Lopez. Dr. Kimberly Susan Lyons. Dr. Paul Duffy Mayer. Dr. James D. Mancuso. Dr. Bryant Jean Marchant. Dr. Christopher J. Matthews. Dr. Billy J. McCarty. Dr. Craig H. McHood. Dr. Marshall C. Mendenhall. Dr. Wendell Mew. Dr. Kyle J. Michaelis. Dr. Michael J. Mines. Dr. Won Kun Moon. Dr. William Peter Mueller. Dr. David William Munitz. Dr. Yvonne M. Newberg. Dr. Hung Win. Dr. Sam A. Ocha. Dr. Mark Stephen Ochoa. Dr. Michael Saji Oshiki. Dr. Weston Perkins. Dr. Maureen Michelle Peterson. Dr. Scott Martin Peterson. Dr. Mark Donald Porter. Dr. Edward Addison Reedy. Dr. Kyle Norman Remick. Dr. Rocky Russell Reston. Dr. Joseph R. Richards. Dr. Eric J. Rupert. Dr. Lynette Lalonde Schindler. Dr. R. Mark Scheidler. Dr. Renee Marie Sigmund. Dr. Peter Thomas Sipos. Dr. Joseph Aaron Slyman. Dr. Rodney J. Sparks. Dr. John Joseph Steele III. Dr. Sean Alexander Straczynski. Dr. Anne Marie Straight. Dr. Timothy Michael Straight. Dr. Thomas G. Struble. Dr. Frederick R. Sylvia. Dr. John Eric Tallman. Dr. Sean Frank Taylor. Dr. Christopher E. Tebrock. Dr. Melissa Jane Tebrock. Dr. John Christian Thompson. Dr. Dai A. Tron. Dr. Anthony A. Tucker. Dr. Krankai Tyree. Dr. Melissa Mary Tyree. Dr. John William Vanderhoof. Dr. Wendy M. Waite. Dr. Christopher William Walker. Dr. Stephen Ray Ward. Dr. Julia Christine Watkins. Dr. Brendan Michael Weiss. Dr. John Christopher Weskey. Dr. Kimberly L. Whittington. Dr. Richard H. Wilkins. Dr. Michael Eric Williams. Dr. Randy Wayne Robeser. Dr. Rawson Lyman Wood III. Dr. Ting Wei Yang.
Class of 1998, you swore the oath of Hippocrates as you entered this medical school 4 years ago. It has guided your conduct as students of medicine. Please stand. Raise your right hand and swear it again so it may guide your practice as physicians. Please repeat after me. I do solemnly swear that I will be loyal to the profession of medicine and just and generous to its members, that I will lead my life and practice my art in uprightness and honor, that into whatsoever home I shall enter, it shall be for the good of the sick and the well, to the utmost of my power. And I will hold myself aloof from wrong and from corruption and from tempting of others to vice. That I will exercise my art solely for the cure of my patients and the prevention of disease, and will give no drugs and perform no operation for a criminal purpose, and far less suggest such thing. That whatsoever I shall see or hear of the lives of any person which is not fitting to be spoken, I will keep secret. These I do promise, and in proportion as I am faithful to this oath, may happiness and good repute be ever mine. The opposite, if I shall be forsworn. Please take your seats.
Ladies and gentlemen, having received their doctoral degrees, these 154 members of the Uniformed Services University class of 1998 have turned in their academic robes and now wear their service uniforms to take their oaths as commissioned officers in their respective service. The Surgeons General or their representative will now commission the graduates in their respective branch of service.
It is indeed a great day to be a soldier medic. Will the United States Army graduates please stand? Raise your right hand. Repeat after me. I, and state your name, do solemnly swear that I will support and defend the Constitution of the United States against all enemies, foreign and domestic, that I will bear true faith and allegiance to the same, that I take this obligation freely, without any mental reservation or purpose of evasion, and that I will well and faithfully discharge the duties of the office upon which I am about to enter. So help me God. Congratulations.
Would the United States Navy graduates please stand? Now, before we start, I want to remind you this is the second oath that you will take. Some may say to you that there is an incompatibility between these oaths. There is not. You can do your job. In fact, I find that these two oaths are complementary. In fact, they add exponentially to your ability to achieve things. So, would you please raise your right hand and repeat after me? Say, I, and state your name. Do solemnly swear that I will support and defend the Constitution of the United States against all enemies, foreign and domestic, that I will bear true faith and allegiance to the same, that I take this obligation freely without any mental reservation or purpose of evasion, and that I will well and faithfully discharge the duties of the office upon which I am about to enter. So help me God. Congratulations.
I think the point is exactly right, is that you are joining dual professions, the profession of the healing arts and the profession of arms. Would the United States Air Force graduates please stand Raise your right hand and repeat after me. I state your full name. Do solemnly swear that I will support and defend the Constitution of the United States against all enemies, foreign and domestic. That I will bear true faith and allegiance to the same. That I take this obligation freely, without any purpose of evasion or mental reservation. And that I will well and faithfully discharge the duties of the office upon which I'm about to enter. So help me God. Congratulations.
Will graduates of the United States Public Health Service please stand? In this, the 200th anniversary or bicentennial year of the Public Health Service, I'm really pleased on behalf of the 50,000 members of the Public Health Service and the 6,000 members of the Commission Corps to be able to welcome you. Will you please stand and raise your right hand and repeat after me? I state your name. Do solemnly swear that I will support and defend the Constitution of the United States against all enemies, foreign and domestic. That I will bear true faith and allegiance to the same. That I take this obligation freely, without any mental reservation or purpose of evasion, and that I will well and faithfully discharge the duties of the office upon which I'm about to enter. So help me God. Congratulations.
Ladies and gentlemen, please rise for the benediction and remain standing for the alma mater.
Let us pray. Dear God, for what has transpired, we thank you. We pray for your continued presence in the lives of those gathered here today. Be with the class of 98 as they ventured forward in the paths you have set for them. Help them to work in their service as they serve in the profession for which they have trained. Dismiss us now with all spiritual grace and benediction. In your name we do pray. Amen.